podcast world. This is Caribbean Power Lunch, where we feature Black-owned businesses. I'm your host, Kevin Valley, and today we are talking about the business of event management. My guest host today is a certified event planner, a trained broadcast announcer, a student of creative media production, Miss Salene Griffith.
Hola, 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 hola.
Salene, how are you doing today? I know you had a lot of traffic today.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic. Well, it's the season for that, so it's all good. I'm fine.
All right. And our entrepreneur of the day, our professor today, is a creative director, games creator, fund manager, team builder, Mr. Brendon Brathwaite of Buzz Concepts. How are you doing, sir?
Okay, I'm always good. Thank you for having me here today.
So, you did a BSc in Econ for 2 years? Are you a genius or?
You start with some hard questions one time, way. Okay, basically, when I was studying in UE, I decided that I would do Econ because I was good at it. My best teacher ever was Mr. Elder. He was a foundation econ teacher for everybody who did econ in my
life in Trinidad.
Right, so Mr. Elder, so he made me believe that I could be an economist. Going through the ropes of the math in UE became a nightmare because I was not good at math. Also, if I take a step back from UE,
sure.
When I was pretty young, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And being diagnosed with dyslexia, only later on in life did I realize that it was a disability. It was a real strange thing because I used to mix up my D's and D's. Right. Even my own name, I couldn't spell it properly when I was writing.
That's okay, Brendon.
So, and truth. And over the years, when I realized that it was a disability, because I told myself that most likely I'm going to become a garbage man or drive a truck or do something because I was struggling. I always used to come last in tests. Even I was in the A class, I used to come last in tests.
You used to come last? At least you were in the A class?
I was A class last. But I used to always wonder why these people are better than me. Because I knew as much as they did it, but I just was struggling. So passing for secondary school was happy because in those days I had junior sec. So passing for secondary school was a success to me. I went Belmont Boys Secondary. And then moving on to A levels at Polytechnic, where I met my girlfriend at the time, who was my daughter's mother. Moving on to UE, we hooked up, and well, my daughter was born around that time.
Good job.
And so when you talk about doing 2 years in econ, the story is, yes, I did 2 years in econ, but I failed at econ because at that point in time, I was under so much stress with a daughter on the way, not knowing what I was supposed to do in life, wasn't sure what was happening. Maths was stressing me out. I basically said, you know what, let me try and get a bank job or something like that, and that was my only way out. But then I opted to do, I actually went to Bahamas and did a degree in tourism management, which I excelled at, and it was easy breezy. Finally found something that was natural to me, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Lovely. Sorry, so what happened after that? That's when you started working at Island People?
No, it didn't work like that. What happened is that with my tourism degree, I came back to Trinidad in 2003. And was part of a crew of people called the Creon Crew.
Creon Crew?
And yeah, the Creon Crew. And the Creon Crew basically threw a family day called Crew Olympics. It incorporated, at the time, the island peoples and the tribes, and when they were all young, back in 2004, I think. And that's where I got my foundation, a little introduction into event planning. But we were just a crew of people who used to go with a crayon in front of the stage and jump up. Just like what had Powder Posse and all these other things. Yeah, that was the formation of the crew. But the crew had a positive vision in the sense of, at that point in time, bringing people together to raise funds for charity. And I assisted in producing that event. And that was one of the first elements of attraction into the event planning outside of tourism management.
So, how did you get into Island People? I know you used to do some events for governments and some political parties and all of that.
After the Creon Crew, I decided that, listen, this event planning thing isn't for me. I wanted to be part of this. So I enrolled at Arthur Lockjack Grad School of Business. I think it was 2005 or 2004, something along those lines, in the event planning program to get a certificate.
So you actually did the program?
Of course I did the program.
Okay.
And in doing the program, I remember at that point in time, the courses that were popular for masters or something like that was project management IT management and all those lines. Event planning was totally not a subject of interest at all. So I remember going to my mom and saying, Mom, I want to do this course. It's $13,500. Would you support me in this? And she said, no, I'm only going to support you if you do project management. Event planning, this is not exciting, and this is not something I would give you revenue in the future. Something along those lines. It was a hard.
That's all that you know.
Well, the thing is, at that point in time, yes, it wasn't of interest, but of course it was interest to me. My dad had given me money to buy a car. Contribution, because it wasn't enough. But he gave me a contribution, which is what my dad's supposed to do. He's not supposed to spoil it and buy a car.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
So he helped me out a little bit, and I took that money and I paid for the course. And what happened after that, it was actually gate approved, and I got the money back.
So you bought a car?
No. That is the money that I actually used to invest in Burst Concepts.
Love it.
So I didn't get a car then.
But I noticed that you did CSAP, which is a project management.
Right. I did. Right. Well, I did CSCP studies in the States, but that was after I got the certificate.
Okay.
Closer to, I think it was 2010 or 2011.
Because I remember when I was doing the event management at Arthur Jack, one of my
That was
colleagues
option.
told me, he's like, why don't you just do project management? Because he was doing the CSCP,
Right.
CSAP.
Right.
The CSCP and the it's not CPEP podcast. So he was saying, it's a broader, you get a wider scope of that and all this kind of thing. So I'm like, but I think that even if I do the event management, I could still get into project management
Right.
eventually. I don't think there's any barriers there because you did, a specialized course.
The course at Arthur Jack, which is something I actually teach now, at that point in time was one of the only courses in the nation that provided a foundation in event planning.
Yes.
Where you went through the basic courses of starting and growing your own company, best practices, corporate event planning, risk management. These were courses that at the end of the day, no one was actually teaching you what to do or even giving you theory of what to do. So this was a wake-up call for me now, because coming from a party promotion or a little hype group that promoted a little family day to now being involved in this, it was like a wake-up call. It was a total new idea. And we were, of course, now introduced to different companies. And the pumping company at the time that was doing magic on the road or magic in producing events was Island People. And so that's what I wanted to do. I said, if I'm going to be good, if I'm going to be great at some point in time, I need to work with the great people. So every time I passed by the building, I remember telling my daughter once, I said, I'm going to work there. Every time someone mentioned the word Island People or the name Island People, I used to be excited about being part of their team. And it so happened that they called our class and asked for volunteers for Taste T&T. And I was the class rep. Now, being as proactive as I am, they asked for a few things. They asked for t-shirt sizes, names of people who could volunteer, and a few things. Within 20 minutes, I had the list for them. The lady who called me to assist her, her name was Cindy Howe. And she became almost the key for that lock for me to get into Island People. And from there, their introduction to me, because again, remember at this time, was the first time I ever paid to study. Because my mom is a lecturer at UWI. Okay. So at that time, I actually got to go UWI free. Now I'm spending my own money to study. Believe me, I'm taking it serious. Yeah. Believe me. Yeah. My money.
It works like that.
Yeah, so now that being the case, I lead in the class, passing every test, studying everything, volunteering everything.
So the dyslexia was not an obstacle anymore?
Over time, no. I think when I realized that I actually got this diagnosed, it now became empowerment. It was almost like I'm supposed to be disadvantaged, but I'm as equal as you. I'm as good as you. Now, even some of my proposals that I write, if I don't get them vetted, they might have something wrong with them, and I want to tap myself all the time because I feel that I've overcome it, but it is not. Just is not happening. So I still have to spell check, go over everything, read everything backwards sometimes, that kind of thing, in order to ensure that my documents are on point. But what happened is, when you find, and this happened to me, when you find something that really lends itself to you. People say, find your passion, and I believe it to some extent, but I believe sometimes things find you. So event planning found me. I didn't go running behind event planning. I basically got slapped in the face with this. And I have to accept the fact that this is where I am now. I'm an event planner. Good. I'm a producer.
That's good. It's interesting that you're able to kind of speak it into existence, that job at Island People.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't spend very long there because, you eventually opened Buzz Concepts.
Now, let me show it this way. I did spend 5 years to the day at IP. But what I did is the same week that I joined Island People, the same week that I got my first job at Buzz Concepts. Really, it was a moving time, and it's a very strange time. Arthur Lockjack was the first company I worked for, officially, to make money. Everybody else I was working for freelance and getting a little payment, but Arthur Lockjack was first Buzz Concepts production, and that was the school that I attended. The year before, I attended a family day, and sorry to say, but the Army produced it, and I was not impressed. They were so serious and rigid, they didn't have fun. So I went to the coordinator and I told her, I said, Gemma, that wasn't good. I could do a better job than that. And she said, you can. I said, yeah. She said, well, show me. I said, show you what? She said, show me that you could do it. Get your team ready and do it. And it took, honestly, I deliberated 1 week, 2 weeks. The week before the event, she said, Brendon, if you're not doing it, you can't make this money. I said, how much money can I make? She said, the budget is $10,000. I said, $10,000? I said, okay, good. Well, I'm going to do the proposal and get this done. We did it. We borrowed a rope, borrowed some cones, got sponsorship from Monster. Wow. That was Monster Energy Drink at the time from Carib. Thank you, Sarah Sebastian. And we got that sponsorship and we produced the event for Arthur Lockjack. Only recently, I've been feeling that event has been one of my best events ever. It was the real catalyst for excitement. We laughed, we fell down, we cried. At producing that event,
Did you really cry?
Yes, we did. I really don't know. At that event, I felt that we didn't realize that the spirit that we created and uniting people and having fun with them was so great. It was over the top. It was crazy in the sense of we were just doing games for people and we were feeling totally overwhelmed. And it was my cousin, sister, and a lot of friends. And my girlfriend at the time.
I wanted to know.
Yeah, my girlfriend at the time.
Okay, and you actually started the company with your girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, I started the company with her. Well, initially I had to urge her into understanding that yes, it's a company doing, because she was just assisting me. But she actually quit her job. And she quit her job a year before I quit mine. But she was more fed up with the corporate world. She was like, I can't wake up early enough. I'm fed up with this. And so I want to do my own thing. And so that urged me into leaving.
Buzz started off with mainly sporting events.
That's where we were.
You're not mainly sporting events.
Even today, let me put it this way. What our new definition of what we do is that we excite brands, right? And turn the mundane into the memorable. So in exciting brands, yes, we do family days. Yes, we do team builders. Yes, we do brand executions. And like what we're doing this weekend for Carnival, we're doing Doritos for Amco in Bacchanal Road. That's happening tomorrow. Nice. So yeah, so if you get a Doritos, it's because Buzz Concepts was the assistant to Amco in doing so. But this has taken a long way regards to our energy and excitement for novelty games, which I know, I'm confident is the new way in which brands now communicate. Brands communicate through games, and games tend to be the most exciting thing that humans can involve themselves in, that allow them to release their inhibitions and not be so serious about life. It gets you in a zone where you are actually enjoying life. And this is what games do.
Except if you're playing Taboo or Pictionary with your family.
Except if you're losing. And I mean, if you have a good sport, it's okay, but people hate to lose. And that's why where I sit where I am. I can tell you straight off that I don't even play games. Mm-hmm. I'm a games producer, but I don't play because I'm very competitive. Very, very competitive. I hate to lose. I'm the worst person to play against anything. From pool to any game. Even running, I'll run against a child, and that child will never beat me. So aggressive. Your
ex-girlfriend, she's still in the company? What happened with her?
Well, it's a... No,
you find any bad
this is okay, it's okay. The thing is, we parted ways in 2000 and I think it was 2013 or 14.
That's life.
Right? Which is good. And the thing is, in a relationships and business are hard. People say, you know what, I'll team up with my girl or I'll team up with my significant other and produce this. But when you produce together, you're in each other's face. Our events happen on weekends. You don't get time to be in a relationship. You're in a business. And so, let's say, for example, the NIS didn't get paid. And it's like, hey, you paid the NIS? It's like, no, we didn't. Oh, no. I don't think on that night I would have been excited to go cinema because we just paid a penalty.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
Gotcha.
it's really an issue with regards to the separation of the person from the situation and the maturity needed. I didn't know if at that point in time I had the maturity to do so. I was so driven. Y'all, I told myself I was going to get rich or die trying. I used that 50 Cent anthem. I was doing it, didn't exercise, didn't go anywhere, missing birthday parties. Families couldn't call me, not answering my phone for anybody but a company. I was so focused that it was crazy. I say, only even after the breakup is when I started to realize, Brendon, you need to start to live. And so it was a wake-up call for me. And when you talk about business, and a lot of people say that, they'll team up with somebody to do business. But if you don't take a day, like if you don't say, Tuesdays become my weekend, most likely you'll get a business but you'll lose a relationship.
Yeah. Matter of sacrifice.
It's a matter of real balance.
Yeah.
So balance is the key, and I'm only now discovering that. Well, past 4 years.
Well,
I know I'm much better at it now.
Brendon, you have customers, governments, corporations, banks, medium-sized companies, large private companies. You're killing it, right? You're killing it. You actually doing between 50 to 75 events a year?
Yeah. Well, it's really what you call it an event. We would do games for unit trusts on a Thursday, like their customer service appreciation day. It would be in 4 branches, one in Tobago, one in South. Because that one event. But on the weekend, we'll do a family day on the Saturday, and we'll do another one on the Sunday. We might do a church, and at the same time, we might do an execution for FCB. And it varies from small to large, especially for the family days. Moving into Christmas, we do kids' Christmas functions. And so when people ask me, how much events do you actually produce? We produce events throughout Carnival. For example, right now we're working with Angostura and their Salesman of the Year Awards, where we are doing awards and giving them out on a cruise. So the awards is happening on a cruise ship.
On a cruise.
And then we are docking, and they're giving out more awards on land when they finish having dinner. It's exciting and different. Those kind of things that we add in new dimensions to corporate functions that have not been done before. So it's engineering excitement into brands, and that's something that we've been stressing, and we're happy that some clients appreciate that we're adding this new kind of energy to what they're doing versus the mundane.
So how about buzz concepts? How you came up with that name, though?
Oh, it's a nice story. All these things are nice stories. I tell stories,
You listen to
it's good stories. I can get some. Buzz concepts. There was a girl in my class in Artologja called Onika Edwards. She's a makeup artist now.
Yes, I know that name.
Right?
Yeah,
She's a makeup artist. And me and Onika sat down in the car on Independence Square Day because she was working in the Ministry of Social Development at the time, I think. And we sat down in the car and we were discussing about names to name our company, because me and Onika was going to form a company together. Yeah?
What was the company? What you was
Buzz Concepts, we were going to form Buzz together.
Okay.
Right? And Onika, we were coming up with names, and I said, Buzz is good. And at the same time, I was, of course, interested in working Island people. Right, 2 words. Right? So it was Buzz, Buzz something. And Island people at the time also had a company called If Concepts.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I always liked the word Buzz. Then I said, let me come up with this name. It was so cool that when Joe Goldblatt, because I attended TTHTI master's class, and he asked me to stand up, and I said, so where are you from? And I said, my name is Brendon, and my company is called Buzz Concepts. He said, that sounds like an international name. And it sounds like a company that has been around for 1,000,000 years. Because it sounds so rolling off your tongue so quickly. Yes. So a lot of times, over the years, the businesses have formed, which is Buzz Concepts, Bar Stars, Green Thumb, and a few other companies roll off your tongue like if they were always around. So that's the kind of thing that I've been able to do. Or another company I had to assist was a cleaner crew. Those kind of things. So it's a double word that relates to... It sticks. It's like so quick off the top of your head. So that's the names that I've been able to give companies.
I noticed that on your website you have all these bee-type things. So I was just wondering if it
linked to... No.
If you sting like a bee.
No. When, like what my sister says, my sister always say that I overwork.
Okay.
Like from one project I go to the next.
So
We always busy.
Going.
We always busy. And that tends to be what we are now. We never sit still. I don't think we should. Because to be in this dynamic industry is change, and that is ever changing from technology to information to demands from clients. You had to be busy. So yeah.
So what's the size of your team like? Because you don't have so many events going on simultaneously. So it's the size of your team and how you manage that.
Well, I was telling Kevin earlier that my core team in office is 5 people. And this has changed over the years. Back in 2014, I had about 7 persons working. But again, with now the economy and economic changes, you have to downsize to be efficient but not kill your overheads with regards to staffing costs. And my team is 5 persons. We have an accountant, an office manager, me, and we have driver, and a few other people who are always there, like my students who are interns that operate from UB right down the road. So they're always in the office. The thing is, because the core staff is very dynamic, somebody could come on the day and sit on my desk and work. So when they consider the core team, it's like that. But outside of that, we have 85 people. From doctors, to consultants, to people who are specifically into health and safety, to all these different areas that work with us.
I was about to ask you, in terms of the types of clients that you have, how do you know how to tailor what you're doing? So you just answered my question.
No, I hope I did, but let me go a little further. We have worked with people over the years. Our foundation team branch out into their own specific areas. So one guy studied risk management and health. He is still a Buzz Concepts member. And when people call for an event that needs that specific skill, we just call on him. He worked Buzz before. He understands that we pay well. He has a good relationship with us. We call him and he's part of the consultancy team. In addition to that, he may dock work 2 days out of his work day. Or he may leave to work with us and become an active consultant with us. So people don't leave Buzz Concepts. The pool of resources of people that we could reach for is so grand. Even my past mentors assist us in writing proposals to win bids. Yes. It has been such a great experience in incorporating all these different people to create this large company, a small, large company. Yes. Because when we need 45 staff to produce, let me give you a weekend. Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Ministry of Environment, a mango festival, all these things happen at one weekend, something like that. And one required 45 staff, the other required 10, and we were producing from Saturday to Sunday, and we did about 4 events that weekend. But they were 4 large events, 3 events on one day and 1 the day after. I can't do that by myself. It's never me.
And it was executed seamlessly.
We don't have issues, but I can tell you, I can give you nightmares. Every year, we tend to have one event for the gods.
For the gods?
Yeah, you know how you sacrifice an event? One event, like we call it an event from hell. But I think 2017, I didn't have that event. It didn't show up. 2016, it didn't show up. But let's say about 2013, we had one of those where we were restricted from using the grass area in the stadium and everything had to be executed on the track. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Not for me. I wasn't even there. I was producing another event for the PNM at the time. It was a youth rally.
Okay.
And came back to see the staff crying and said, "What happened to you guys? It was terrible. They were upset."
So literally crying?
Crying, yeah.
So they called you to say, "Okay,
they come across, come back here. We need your assistance now." Yeah, so that was back then, and that tended to be one of our nightmare events. But there's the experience in planning too. If you don't have nightmares, how you know what is good and what is bad?
Exactly.
If you don't do stupidness or make a mistake, how do you move forward? And so in business is also this attitude of failing forward. Fail a little bit, move forward with a good attitude. Learn from your mistakes, move forward again. This is the kind of mantra I've been applying.
For the most part, I'm hearing relationships. So I know that's a core thing in terms of making events work. You have to have a good relationship with the people that you interact with, not just your staff, but your clients and everybody, all the stakeholders involved. So how do you maintain those relationships?
I think I've been blessed with a little talent in linking with people and keeping people close. Even though, let's say, I'm upset with someone or have a bad experience with somebody, I think I've been able to be so open and tell them, "Listen, I'm upset with you. I will not work with you again. It is okay. That doesn't mean that we can't talk.
Right.
But with regards to business, this is not the way I want to go." That's the comfort level I have with people. And I have been doing so The relationships I had, service providers. I've had the same 10 provider for the past 9 years. Some providers are like family. Me and my doubles man tight. I give his little son a puppy. How do you think he could set
you
me
use the
again?
same people over and over, or you go through a little tendering process too when you select it?
My relationships were built already. New relationships do come when I meet new service providers.
Right, okay.
You see, in this industry too, is also people feed off each other. Great vibes. Like I just did an event with Tim, Karen Budu Singh. Fantastic relationship.
Disneyland?
Yeah, Disneyland, we did that. Fantastic relationship. And when you build relationships like these, and you able to work with the person, you generally feel confidence in moving forward with them for years. It's almost like a relationship, friendship. We're gonna get old together kind of relationship kind of thing. You can feel it already. I've been blessed by this.
So there's a lot of competitors who produce events, who you can outsource to produce events. So corporations can outsource to produce the events, right? How does Buzz Concepts continue to win 50 to 75 events per year from these guys?
Because sports days is assumed to be an easy event. People say, you can easily throw it up. But what happens is that they tend to be very, very interactive. And you are judged not only by one or two persons as in a corporate function. You have what function? The core people would judge you because they know what you were supposed to do. But in a sports day, a guy playing football might be the accountant. He might score a goal and he might be upset by the referee's decision and he may not want to pay your bill. So the evaluation of our team on a sports day was the entire team. It was like almost like a 360 evaluation on us in production. So every time that we did an event, we had to improve for the other. From shaky tents when we used to rent tents a long time from certain providers to dirty tables and all these things. And so when we started to produce so much, we had to learn. And by learning, we got better. We got good. And by getting good, our bids started to get better. Our creativity started to channel itself into these bids. Let me give you an example. We were doing a bid for a company that asked for, their theme was the melting pot.
Nice.
We went and get an iron pot, vegetables, everything, and put our bid in, like a bid in a memory stick, in a cucumber. Submitted it to the client and we won the bid. I'm aggressive with regards to winning bids. If I have to dress up in a costume, my Elmo costume, to win a bid for Sesame Street in Schlumberger, I would do it, and I've done it before. So that level of aggression for the bid is the same aggression that we execute the events with. We don't play. Why are we playing?
No games
we have no games to play. Even though I do games, I don't play. I don't play when it comes to bidding and winning bids. And on top of that though, it's also grounded by, we have NIS, we have VAT registered, we have public liability insurance. So the business side of it is organized. I have a trained accountant working with me, so that's good. I've been working with the same bank over a period. So at the end of the day, it's not like if a company pays me $300,000 to do an event for them, that I'm going to jump on a plane and bust out. This is what I do. It's now 13 years. So we have the experience to back up the statements and the production and that kind of thing. So yeah, we win bids because we're bad. You're bad at it.
Better than that. Yeah. Alright, I want to give the listeners some practical advice now. So we want to go through the full cycle. We want to go from the planning stage, the actual day of the event, the actual production, and we want to go to the post-production. Okay. Now, I've been looking at your videos on Instagram. I know you have a nice hashtag events tips TT. Right. You keep posting little short clips, and it's brilliant actually. It's like little 10-second clips.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I took some notes.
Right, very good.
Yeah. You post some clips where you kind of give little tips here and there, then you're gone. Right. A quick tip and you're gone. Go on multi-day, right? And I took a note of some of them, you say, walk around with a Swiss Army knife, walk with some duct tape, some measuring tape, a notepad, a pen, and a phone charger.
Right. No, these things.
And get a panel van.
Yeah.
This is my event, right?
The panel van is, yes, the panel van is needed in the long run, but there's not one of those necessities where you go on a side visit, you need a panel van to glue. But in planning events, and this has moved away. If we continue that discussion of moving from studies at Arthur Jack into working for an event planning company, the theory of event planning and the actual practical event planning are two different things. People don't understand that. A person attending event will watch an event, see a stage, lights and flowers on a table and a centerpiece and believe that this could easily be done. generally persons have the confidence if they throw a little party, that a little party could convert itself to a big party with regards to a snap of a finger. It does not work like this. A small event is a small event. A family garden is a family garden. But when you start to produce events for the general public or a corporation, it is a learning curve that carries you through steps that generally, if you don't have years of experience, you could do madness. And you could really fail, because large companies fail. So when you ask about pre-production starts with actually getting a proper document that asks you all the specifics of what they want you to do. So when a company comes to me and say, I want to produce a retirement function, their retirement function, if they don't identify what their objectives are and specifically say, okay, they want a fixed house, or they want a creme de la creme, or they want a souffle, or something as the menu. If they don't say those things, they leave it up to me to decide. And I have to add that energy to their proposal. But in many instances, and organizations are getting much better at these RFPs. So when they do get better at RFPs and tell me what to do, I'm better at producing what they want.
Right.
But still, remember that a lot of times, events are produced from persons' dreams. A person would watch TV, see something fantastic. They would have a dream about what they want, even like weddings and those functions. And they want the producer to interpret their dream and make their dreams come true. Yo, this is difficult.
It is very difficult.
You understand?
Because even though you're speaking on the same level, you think you're speaking on the same level. Sometimes
your idea might not be the same.
Exactly.
So you might say, you know what, I want some cocktail tables. And I would say, okay, well, we let the staff meander through these cocktail tables as they reach the bar station to get their best. All that is statements and it sounds good. But when you come on the day and it's not black and white, and it's purple, because we interpreted these dark colors that makes it, no. Yeah. A mismatch could easily happen. So when you talk about pre-planning is the RFP. And then doing the necessary research from proper site visits. After proper site visits where you do an actual layout. And now it's almost industry standard to have a 3D layout. That is the next learning curve. Are you able to produce 3D layouts, or are you just going to do it from the top of your head? That doesn't work. So when you do layouts, you have to go back and then you do proper programming, from making sure that it has a risk management announcement,
right,
to going through these steps and all the different steps and where the vote of thanks would be so that the event doesn't finish, inviting people to certain functions and elements of the event to upgrade it, because again, every event has a crescendo.
Yes.
And we must always capture the event at that crescendo to make it pop. So that tends to be the excitement that we want. This is the energy behind what you have to do for your pre-event. Now, the actual coordination. This is my experience.
When you say coordination at this stage, you're talking about on the day itself, okay?
Yeah, the actual coordination. Right.
Yeah. Games time.
Well, yeah, the actual coordination, I've realized, starts, and I use it as staffing to guide. So let me put it in staffing. We have 5 levels of staff producing an event. 1, packing the van. So that's pre-packing to go on the venue. Then we have a venue setup team. Then we have an early morning and then event team that on the day. Then we have a breakdown team, and then we have a pack-back team. And this is what people don't see. They say, oh, I can do this event. And before I had these 5 people, it was one team that did every element of this. They used to set up, do the event, breakdown, everything was summarized into that. Now we have sectioned it off that allows for people to live. Allows for people to enjoy what they do, because it was a nightmare in a sense. If you ask somebody to do all of this weekend after weekend, somebody's going to run away, or they're going to crash into a tree or something along those lines, because it's hard work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But what about, like, if your client comes to you and says, I want to do this at this venue, and then you don't agree with that? How do you convince your client that?
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. Because sometimes people, as you say, they have their dream.
Yeah.
And you as a professional, you would say, well, you know, I disagree. You know, you soften them up a little bit.
What happened initially, when I was a lot younger in production, I basically used to let clients tell me and guide me. As I got a little older and a little more mature and accepted my role, I became a little more adamant.
Yeah, because I believe they'll trust you, especially with your track record. They will trust you.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. So before, I think in some instances, I'd let clients bully me to say, you know, it'll work, and I believed them. And then when I saw the nightmares, I was like, yo, I knew better. Now I've reached the point where I am confident enough to say, I know what works.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's your brand, huh?
But no, it's not. I protected my brand, but it's more along the lines of delivery. Because experience in events doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
And that's what people feel. They feel that they could wake up tomorrow morning, order a birthday cake, bring it to a venue, the knife would be there, the candles would be there, everything would be there to make this epic. They don't realize that just delivery of that birthday cake needs formality. If you're going to do it really well, you have to have fanfare music. What about the lighting at the time? Who is going to cut the cake with? Are they going to sing in harmony? Are we going to really stage this and make it more epic than it could possibly be? Because that's what we want. We want a simple task of producing an event to be so great, so magical, that it becomes totally memorable.
Yeah.
And so, this is where we at.
Making me excited about event planning again.
Yo,
Salene,
be excited.
You have me excited again.
Be excited.
I will not tell a lie.
No, events are, when I tell people that events are life, and talking about this coordination on the day, we ask employees to not bring their drama. And this is where I believe that event planners are superheroes. I always say it. When I did a lecture recently for Shine, it was a conference on experiential marketing at Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business. The people there was Dean Akin, Derek Lewis, and Jules Sovian from Caesar's Army.
Big boys.
Yeah, they were a big cast. At that thing, I talked about the significance of being superheroes, about what we are asked to do and produce on a day. For example, if my dog had died on the morning of a big show, I cannot come and say, my dog died. I have to produce. No matter what is going on in your life, once you have a timeline and you have a show and the show starts, you have to produce. So we have to, in many instances, get into character. Yeah. Seriously get into character to act. And we are behind the scenes. Yeah. But even behind the scenes, you have to be in character. So I tell my staff, don't bring drama. Understand your role. This is just for a short time. Whatever you have going on in your life, you will figure it out right after. But within this time frame, act your role. So that's what we do.
Sounds like Walt Disney.
Well, yeah.
Because that's how they train their staff. You are a role player. You're not just staff member.
Yeah. And so even when persons call the phone now, we changed most recently to now when people call, we said, welcome to the Fun Factory. We are the Fun Factory. So we answer the phone with that tone. And people are like, oh, hi. Fun, what? Okay. So if we said people, they don't know, and we add excitement to every conversation. That's what we want. We want to add excitement to every engagement. So that's the coordination aspect of it. Now, moving on, because I didn't finish answering your question. We have pre-planning, coordination, and then the post. Post of the event tends to be where most Trinidadians ignore. When you leave an event, that's when the staff thinks that they need to leave as well. So you leave, and they say, well, my staff member says, my cousin here, so I'll take a drop with them. I was like, no, we have to close this event off properly. This is where
I'm pretty certain you don't say it like that.
No. Of course not. No.
He censored himself.
Yeah. This is totally censored. But hopefully, in the future, when I write a little book, I can make this theory come alive. But I believe there's a mirror effect. I believe what is done before, in the middle of the event, like let's say the event is a 6-hour event, at 3 hours into the event, what was done before must be done after. And the formality of what was done before must be done. So every time that you thank someone, every time you invited someone, you should thank them. Every time that someone came or interacted with you, you should follow up with that interaction. So the whole mirror is almost like you flip the event back. And so if you had audited initially the amount of ice you needed, at the end, you must audit how much ice you used. Simple things, but it's just a total mirror of it. And so the end of the event becomes a total way in which we evaluate. And we evaluate to the extent that we really try to solve future problems. We don't evaluate and pat ourselves on the back. And I think that's what happens in Trinidad a lot with productions and people who fail at producing. And I think in their little teams, they are back patters, is what I call them. Everybody, hey, we did well, and they judge the event by just attendance. A few things went wrong, and we then tend to not focus on the simple thing. Like the ladies' bathrooms had no lights or toilet paper, and we just say, okay, that's okay, we'll fix that next time. But it's not a serious diagnosis to say, who was responsible? Why this didn't happen? Should we not pay this person? No, should we discount this person's payment so that they understand that this was a delivery? And all these other things so critical.
Savage boy, but I totally agree with you.
So that we, at the end of the day, so that at the next event, it becomes better. This is what I tell people. You all know how to play drafts, right? Drafts?
Yes.
Yeah. You all remember how to play Chicky Pets?
A little bit.
Cheeky bets is where you give away and you try to lose as fast as possible. Like it's the opposite to draft.
Oh, right.
Remember
Like
cheeky bets? Yeah, I just check cheeky bets, right?
Play that game?
No, I don't.
I want to know.
No. The reason why I say it though, I use this analogy to say in life, I don't play cheeky bets. I don't play to lose. I'm not on that. That's not the kind of games I want to play. And so I play drafts. I play to win. I want a king all around. And so in that approach, but the point
I love games.
The point I'm making though is that to say that if you really want to produce great events, if you don't concentrate, just like you concentrate on your decor, don't concentrate on your evaluation in the same way, you're not going to get better. You're not going to produce great events. You're not going to get the heartbeat that you want. I can tell you, we produce events, and some instances I have to pull aside and cry. I did it once. Let me tell you when.
I find you really like to cry.
No, crying is cool, but I don't cry in front of people.
Right.
The thing is, when I did Kes Sokum on our production when he won for What Less. Right. We teamed up with him. It came off. It was rather very funny. I was talking to one of his dancers, and I said, if I was Kes, this is what I would do. And we wrote down on a napkin, writing down on a napkin magic. Wrote down on a napkin what we would do. I said I would get Lord Nelson to come because he's the king of whatlessness, and I would get the two fat girls to come and jam him in the middle of the stage. All these different things. And she said, I'm going to call Kes. I said, you going to call him? I said, yeah, I'm going to call him. Kes came 15 minutes later. We were at the Bocas downtown Port of Spain at the time. He came, drinking some puncheon, talked about Whatless performance, and we actually, at that point in time, signed a verbal contract for me to produce the event.
What?
We produced it, and he won. So imagine me, simple me, just saying, there's a little idea I have, and then someone placing the confidence in me to produce the event. And then when hearing that he won, in the car park going to my car, oh boy, you don't think I'll break down?
I'm gonna cry.
I'll break down.
Right now I want to cry.
And so it was so cool. It was so cool that I felt at that point in time, and I think that was back in 2013, at that point in time, I was like, this is the magic that you can produce. This is what you can do for people.
Yeah.
This is where you can carry idea, and you could use your ideas because somehow you seem to be blessed. So take your ideas and don't be afraid to channel them into positive things. And do it. Just do it. And I have a team of people doing it with me. So it's not me. I always talk about team because I believe that I can't do anything without them. I'm just the front and the mouth, but when you talk about the hard work being done and the guys putting up trusses and putting on banners and setting the cocktail tables right, and
truss is that silver,
the aluminum thing.
What people call scaffolding.
Yeah,
right.
So we have those things, and we over the years too, we were talking, and maybe after this we could talk about the business of events because the money behind it. Because a lot of times people feel that it's so easy to make the money, but closing off and answering your final question of evaluation. If you're doing good evaluation, you're going to get better. And that's it. That hands down.
Once you stay true.
Yeah, once you stay true to it. Yeah?
Lovely. So I wanted to kind of send a message here to your patrons. A lot of time in customer service, you never really get a chance to tell your patrons or your clientele, your customers, like, oh gosh, how about you do this to make my job easier so I can serve you better?
Oh.
Right? So I want you to send like a PSA to your patrons.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the companies that we work for and have worked for over these years are getting much better. Everyone is getting good at writing these RFPs.
Yes.
And so, remember, we operate in Trinidad where there are no set standards for documents. So even from the ministries, there's no set document for a ministry tender. One ministry will send this ministry send that, everybody sending different things. There's no standard document for a corporate tender. These are things that generally, because there's no template, they tend to be varied approaches. I would say it'd be really nice, and this is not for me. I don't talk about me. When I talk about industry things, I don't talk about for buzz concepts. I talk about for the entire industry.
Right.
It'd be really nice when people set their budgets and they do a tender and they say, here this now. We can't spend more than $100,000 on this event. Could you bid for this with this budget? You see, what it does is give us, the producers, parameters to work with. But when I am tendering and I'm bidding, open bid, and you ask me to be creative, I go in and give you the world. You tell me I bring the Statue of Liberty here for you. But the point I'm trying to say is that could cost $5 million. My bid will totally get thrown out because I am not being practical.
Yeah.
So what companies need to do is help us out now. Help us out, at least give us some guidelines with your budgets, because right now, our budgets change. Budgets for 2013, 14, 15, 16 don't exist anymore. we have now the 2015, 16 and 17 budgets, and even less in 2018 because people confuse us in what to charge and what to pay. And so, tell us you have $30,000 and you want magic. But don't tell us to bid, open bid, where you know we're going to bid $250,000 when you only have $20,000. Yeah. They talk about chalk and cheese or champagne taste and Bobby mouth. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that we want to make sure that makes sense to us.
Yes.
Yeah?
That's very important. Who would you say is your major competitor?
Oh, that's nice. Firstly, I think my major competitor is me. It's sad. But I know.
No.
I know, sorry.
I like the sound of that though.
But I am the Santi Manite. No, I think I am in the sense of I started to accept the fact that I can't do everything. And I need to tell people no. It reached a point where I was telling everybody yes and doing everything for everybody and all over the place. It changed my life in the sense of I wasn't me. I didn't have time for recreation, no time for exercise, no time for family or friends. And so I've learned now to fight a little better and say no to certain people, especially people who I assume could easily waste my time. Projects that I generally can't make money off of, for business-wise, I opt out of. And others that I feel emotionally involved in, like say, okay, I'll do this for free or be excited about it and do it. But I think that is something that personally has been a challenge for me. So I am my main competitor. I'm not competing with people locally. I mean, there are plenty great people though. I appreciate all of them because, again, what I see they do becomes fuel for my engineering. So I don't compete. No, it's impossible to. Because people are great. Let them be great. It's what the client wants. If they want me, they'll choose me. You understand? So it's not necessarily competing with them. I'm competing with me so that at the end of the day I can please the client even more. And honestly be judged by the last event because the last event is how good I am.
Hopefully the last event is not an event for the gods.
Boy, that's how it does go. Being a member, you had to go down to go back up. Yeah. So if you're positive enough, you're going to be okay.
Good point. You mentioned that you've learned from a lot of people over the years.
Yeah, some veterans way.
So who would you say is your main mentor and why?
It's true, and I've always given him the tips. It's Derek Lewis from Island People, who is they call him the grandfather of event planning in Trinidad because he's now producing for over 40 years, bringing his brand from New York to Trinidad. And I've been schooled by Island People for 5 years. And Dean, his brother, was schooled by him as well. There's a lot of people, but I can't give him the total tips because, again, take a village to raise a child. And I've been raised by a village of people, of great people. The Lisa Ghanis, the Kathleen Maynards, Sean Burkett's, the Tanya Gomes, the Richard Watsons. All these people were all part of this school of event planners who generally were part of my schooling. I'm still learning from even the young producers, the Adrian Chandlers from Strictly FX, Jules Sobian from Caesar's Army. I am learning from them, but remember my approach is different. I am humble enough to accept the fact that yes, they do things different. Yes, they do things magical. This is where I appreciate their involvement in my life, and I'm happy to be part of this mecca of event production in Trinidad. We are now, I think, we are the capital of events.
The mecca.
Yeah, we are the mecca of events. Yes, for the Caribbean, right? We are the party capital, the party republic, and so this is exciting. All these persons, yes, Derek was one of the critical persons, but everybody seemed to be so nice to help and school and guide, and I'm still getting better. When I decide to retire, at that point I'm going to be real bad. But in the interim, I'm still getting better, you know?
That brings me to my next question in terms of, you spoke about some really significant people in our event industry here, but you have people coming up wanting to get into the industry and they just don't know how to enter.
Right.
I know networking is a very big part of it, but how do you, for want of a better expression, rub shoulders with these people?
Not brown nose.
Not brown nose.
But
they have some brown nose in, but
the thing though is, and a lot of young people now don't understand what paying dues mean. They feel that coming out of school, doing 2 events, and even if they get to meet these people, interacting with them, qualifies them to be excellent. Remember, a lot of the people who work for me are younger people. And I'm 38 now.
You're younger.
So, yeah, I don't know. I confused as in where I am. I'm still trying to, if I'm young or old, because I feel like I'm getting older. Because I'm in business, I feel I have to be a lot more. Oh, relax, relax. I feel because I'm in business.
You're 26 old?
22. You look like 22. But being in business, you have to be so mature that sometimes I question if I'm much older than I am because of the kind of situations I'm placed in. So I have to be so adamant and not be like moved and emotional about situations. But in telling young people and guiding them, a lot of young people feel that just by doing, they're doing good. Just by doing, you tell them, do a site visit for me. They feel that just going on the site and standing up means that they're there. Because they're there is good. They're not coming back with notes. They're not coming back with pictures and documents and ideas and to solve problems. So I'm saying more and more for those persons entering the event industry, study, read, listen to podcasts like these.
Caribbean Power Lunch.
Do things that in essence makes you strong. Have your foundation well laid. You can't produce events and you don't know, you haven't read an event dictionary before. You don't know what hype and drape is, you're confused. When people ask about a plant cluster, is it not putting one plant down? Is it 5 plants they need to put? You need to know about all these different things.
Yeah, but if someone knows of all these things and they come to you.
If someone knows these things, they're skilled and they want to enter the industry, volunteer, do things for free.
I agree.
Yeah. Listen,
with you 152%.
Listen, the event industry can't pay everybody. In fact, the pay that you get in the event industry is a labor of love. Because no one can pay you for your ideas, your creativity, really pay you. You have to do this just to be happy. And so most of the producers I see, from the mass men to big producers who produce large shows, I'm not sure if they all make a profit. But people do it because they like it.
Yeah.
So do it for that. If you really like it, you will lend yourself to the industry. And when people see your skill, that's when they say, no, it's
so word gets around.
Listen, I say it all the time. I would do what I would do for people for free. I just have bills. And I have employees. And I have insurance to pay for. And groceries to buy. And dog food to buy. But if I didn't have all these other things, I would be producing events for free any day. No lie. Because I love it.
Yeah,
it's part of me.
Yeah, we can see that.
It's part of me. It's part of my soul. Yeah?
So do you follow up on the economics at all?
Well, the thing too is...
Or do you have any second thoughts? It's like, I don't know, you won't have second thoughts because you're so passionate about what you're doing.
No, you're right. No, I do have second thoughts. Talking about like closing business and that kind of thing. Oh, no, that happens all the time. In being a businessman, and remember, I am an entrepreneur, I also work in my company. So it's not like if I am away from the company, I am watching to see their performance monthly. I am actively involved in the engineering of and producing of events. So I'm a technician, as well as a manager, as well as an entrepreneur, performing all 3 roles within my company. Right? Because I have to do that. It's very difficult to put all the elements together. It's not as easy as it looks.
So, sometimes you wonder if am I doing the right thing here, boy?
No, but, I feel in some instances, like I remember, I call my mentor sometime and say, hey, I want to get out. So I remember saying that to him recently. I said, hey, December looking hard. What's going on? He said, well, what's going on with you? I said, I don't know what's going on here. Well, corporate not saying anything, He said, I have a big responsibility. He said, where you are positioned as a corporate producer, you can't jump out. You have been lecturing I've lectured, honestly, guys, to over 1,000 people in these past 6 years at Art of Lockjack.
I mean, a lot of people jumping onto that program, and you know that there are other programs like it, in schools, but this one I think is very, not that we put in a plug for Art of Lockjack here, but experiencing it myself.
Right.
I think it's very comprehensive. It really addresses every aspect of event planning.
On a theoretical level, which is good.
Yeah.
But when you're out there and let's say you have, 2 staff members supposed to arrive on time, it is so critical for them to reach that the client may not pay if they don't reach. Let's say they're supposed to reserve tickets for pan semis that happening tomorrow. You're supposed to reserve these 40 seats. And they stuck in traffic on the Lady Young, the people are there are no seats, that kind of thing. These things, not that it would happen to me. Try not to make it happen because that's what we have to do tomorrow for a client. But in essence, situations like these make you feel that you need to, like, remember Street Fighter? All you get, like, give somebody or give somebody a spin kick or something like that. Yeah. No, it is a mental violence. That's something that happens to me. I mentally get violent because I feel that, listen, what could have gone wrong? What could have gone wrong? Because this is so simple to do. Arriving on time is simple to do. And so, in instances like this, you study, who should I Who should I give up to? Is you or you? Who's really wrong? And it's so, yes, it's speaking violence, but it's not actually acting it out. But this is something that you question because, remember, you are working with a human element. And human resources in 2013 and 14 was my wake-up call. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done. I've had to accept it that my staff needs to be properly contracted. They need to be properly compensated.
That's really important. Yeah.
And paid for what they do based on what they do. So if they work the event or they work an event day, they work a day in the office. And after office, they produced an event. The question is, did they go home to change to come back to work an event? Or is it extra overtime? You understand? And all those parameters need to be worked out so that I know this is what I'm paying you for. And you know this is what you're working for. And there's no blurred lines. Because there are too many blurred lines in the industry. Because even the industry is young. Somebody could come and say, listen, I want to get $5,000 for working this project. And we have to now say, okay, did you clock your payment card? So we could actually know how much hours we're paying you for and what is your rate per hour. That's now the maturity in producing.
Wow. Brendon, right now there are people listening to this podcast. You know, the banker with his suit on, the engineer with his coveralls on, the accountant with his glasses on. These guys are listening to this podcast. And ladies. These guys are ladies. Right. Salene Elliott, uppercut just like that.
All you get.
These guys are listening to this podcast like, wow, I did not know there's so much that goes into putting on a proper event.
No.
So I think this has been some valuable content. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you very much for coming to the Cabin Studios today. Mm-hmm. Just one more thing. Where can people find you for bookings or for mentorship?
Well, I'm easy to find. Basically, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and buzzconcepts.com. And we're on Gmail, and you can easily email us at buzzconcepts@gmail.com. My phone number is available at 748-4760. I don't mind the world knowing. And again, we tend to be open for bookings all the time. The thing is, when people plan early, they help us out a lot. Again, we do produce miracles, but we prefer to, turn our water into wine kind of scenario. We prefer to order the wine. We just prefer to order the wine versus have to turn it to, from water to wine. So yeah. So guide us accordingly and we'll be cool.
Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to leave us with?
Okay, one last point, I suppose in summary, is that events are not easy to produce from my standpoint, but they become easy over time. And the more experience you get in this industry, is the easier the events become. Your team, and I'm always say it, your team is the strength. They say the strength of a chain is as strong as the weakest link.
Right.
Ensure that you don't have weak links. And even if you do, support them. Let your team members accept where their weaknesses are. Somebody a little forgetful. Somebody tends to be late. Work around those things because that is your team. Accept that that's your team. And work with your team and believe in them. They would always produce and they would always shine. I am just the front of a large company of 85 people that have been benefiting from corporate Trinidad and Tobago. They have been blessing us, paying us, paying people. These people, so many people rely on me so much to pay their groceries and have additional funding to do their extracurricular and all these other things. Some people use it as, most of my students who work with me, that is their money. Their parents pay their rent. They go to school. And Buzz Concept supports every other aspect of their life, from their groceries to their phone bills and all the other things. Nice. So when I say that I lose a bid, like let's say for example, I don't bid properly and I lose a bid. Yes, it affects my money, but it affects so much other people down the line, from my sound guy to my tent provider to all these other people I've been working with. So all these years, I feel like I have such a big responsibility to support. And I'm talking about 85 staff, but I'm also talking about the staff of my service providers as well.
Right.
Because I am, in many instances, I'm the number one provider for my service providers. From a tent provider to a sound provider, a few of them, I am their number one. So if I flop, we flop. So I can't. So, in essence, for those persons interested in the industry, accept your role, be serious about this industry. It is not a sidekick profession. It is the superhero profession. You are not the person on the side waiting for that call to jump into action. If you need me, call me. That's not the kind of approach we want. We are the people on call. We are waiting to make it happen. And so, this is where I feel the industry is going. Trinidad is going to be fantastic at producing events. 5 years from now, I can't imagine how large our event's going to be. We're going to probably surpass the rest of the world because of the steps that we are making. Again, we need to get better in certain elements such as risk management because we're flopping in that area.
Yes.
But outside of that, the excitement, the creativity, the energy, over the top. We're fantastic already. We're just now tying in the loose ends.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we could use to kind of bring in some tourism revenue or just extra revenue, right?
Not only
as
that. As
opposed to relying on pure commodities and all of that.
Listen, when I become the Minister of Entertainment.
Speaking of,
When I become the
I
Minister.
often wonder how we don't have that in Trinidad yet.
When I-
Party Central.
again, just now.
When I become a Minister of Entertainment, I think when we charter planes of people to come test the party, it's going to be a different mindset because our revenue. We talk about tourism, we're going to be doing party tourism.
Yeah.
And that is the way to go. You talk about no sun, sea, and sand. Don't come for no sand. Come to drink rum on the sand.
Oh, yes.
You understand? A different kind of mindset. And that is where we generally have to go. We have to accept it. We say we want to produce oil. We're doing banking and all these other... Let's do what we're good at. We're good at partying all year. Hands down. People can't party like a Trini. So let's produce these events. And we have already, with all the other brands, we actually exporting parties. Let's continue, but let's start to import parties too. Let's import people to come and party here.
I like the fact that you're talking about it from an industry level and not just buzz concepts.
No.
It's not like what you alone going to do.
No, I was
Doing
never...
it.
It's
Yeah,
a
I love
movement.
that. I love that.
I would never talk about me. It's not about me. This is never about me.
Yeah.
It's about people like us and our culture and our values. We're changing the world already, you know.
Yeah.
We are. So it's so exciting to be part of this journey.
This is beautiful podcast. Well, I might cry. I might cry. This cry, this thing is contagious.
Oh, good, yes.
Podcast World, Cabin Studios. We had a great time. We are out.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the rest of enjoy the rest of your podcast.